Hey everybody, and welcome to a Moo episode of Indie Film Cafe. I'm your old pal, the Moo Cow, aka Paul A Presenza, and as usual, I am joined by,
Jonathan A. Moody, your co-host.
yay, and then special guest tonight joining us. We are being joined by,
Steph, just Steph.
Just Steph.
yay, just Steph, flaunting her stuff.
We have
Steph with the
just Jen
stuff.
and we have just Steph,
That's right. Yay, thank you very much for coming on the show. All right.
Yes.
So yeah, this is kind of to make up for an earlier one that we messed up, but it's all good now. And through the magic of Zoom, we're able to talk about our film, if you can call it that. And it is the 2020 movie called Alone with Bigfoot. And you know I love me a stinky Bigfoot movie that's just chock full of Bigfootery.
Big
So
footery.
I couldn't wait to share this one because it's such a stinky movie, but it's fun in a way. And had either of you guys even heard of this one? No,
Nope.
yeah.
Yes, it
No.
is.
You'd be surprised at the kind of stuff you dig up on Tubi. Um, but yeah, it's pretty weird. Oh, is that DOIC in there?
Thank you. Coming in
Hi,
to say
Dio.
hi.
Dio wants to come and say hi. He misses us, I
He
think.
heard about the stink. He's like, hey, I like stinky things.
Yes, he is one. So there we go.
He's a stinky thing. Okay.
All right. Well, we will be back to talk about this stinky movie after some
Mood
music.
music.
Okay, we are back. So, I am dying to know, what did you guys think? First impressions, Alone with Bigfoot. Moody, I'm going to go with you first.
Um, so after while I was watching it, because I was bored most of the time, I turn on, I look over and I see this guy's done other Bigfoot things that looks like
Oh, yeah.
documentary kind of things where he's investigating Bigfoot or whatever. So this guy seems to be obsessed a little bit with Bigfoot. He puts himself as kind of the lead, I guess. I mean, if you can
Almost
call it that,
always.
you know. So I felt like this movie was just not that not that great. It was a stinky movie for sure, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Steph, what about you?
I feel like I'm going to struggle to have a lot to say, other than the fact that you could tell that the people were passionate that were in it, and that it wasn't it wasn't bad enough to hate, but it wasn't good enough to love either. Like it was like this nice middle ground of just low budget, big passion, and a lot of interesting choices. But I'll leave it at that.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, and feel free to, say whatever you want on this show because I'm gonna. And yeah, this is a particularly bad film, and it's made by a guy named Master Hughes. And as Moody
Master,
points out, yep,
Master,
Master.
like he calls himself Master.
Yes, he does.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't born with that name. So
No, no, no. And he has made a number of these films, including The Mountain Stalker, four of these Kimiachi Beast movie things. The Bigfoot Prophecy 1 and 2, because of course there's a Bigfoot Bible stuff mixed up. A movie called The Forest Spirit. And then the latest one he did is called Big Thicket Ghost Light.
and I
But
think
for the
big. I looked them up, and those seem like documentaries, more or less.
some of them are, some of them aren't. The Kimiachi ones are all
And they're like
documentaries.
an hour and 56 minutes. I'm
I
like, I
know.
can't know. Thank God Paul didn't pick
It's
that.
but it's all the same. It's him wandering around in the woods, looking, oh, that might be it over there. 10 minutes later, oh, that might be it over there. 10 minutes later, oh, maybe that's it over there.
No. You watched it? You
Four
watched
movies. I watched one. I'm not going to watch all four of those. Um, the one that I did, there was another one that I watched. Gosh, God, I think of it. think it was Bigfoot Prophecy. I think it was the Bigfoot Prophecy is the one that I watched. That's what gave me my introduction to Master Hughes. And I almost chose that one for our program, but in the end I decided to go with Alone with Bigfoot because if
The
anything
shorter one, you know.
it's shorter, yes. And it's also somewhat worse. Um, so this guy, in addition to this, he also owns a company called Master Hughes Productions. And if you go onto that website, you will see there's a whole bunch of paranormal stuff. There's Bigfoot stuff. There's Zen Buddhism stuff, because he's into that too. There's some poetry. There's a whole bunch of articles talking about him and his movies and his other stuff that he's interested in. He is from Texas, Houston, Texas, and I kind of did a little bit of a cyber stalk on him. And you go to his page and some of his other stuff, and there's a lot of like crackpot conspiracy stuff going on and just weird posts and things. He has convinced himself that he is a video journalist and a reporter who specializes in cryptozoology. So your Bigfoots, your Loch Ness monsters, all that kind of stuff is considered cryptozoology. But it's funny. If you go to like Letterboxd and you look at some of the reactions to his films, they're all pretty bad. They're all slamming him pretty hard. I think the one guy said it best. He said this was like watching your grandpa go off of his meds. So
I could see that.
hmm he actually has another job that he does. His real work is that he owns something called Alpha Core, and that is where he trains executive security and video production. So if you notice, a lot of the movie elements are like video production kinds of stuff. Did you notice that, Moody?
I mean, I guess if that's what you call it. I don't know. Like
There's a lot of stock footage. A lot of stock footage.
was there a lot in this? Like I saw the, it looked cool when they were going over the mountains and different things. It looked like a drone going over like the mountains and stuff, and I thought
It
that
was a
was
drone.
okay. Yeah, and I didn't know that might have been stock footage like that he got from somewhere else, and he didn't have to do it himself. But like aside from that, I didn't really notice much. I mean, most of the stuff was him and his whatever friends, the people that are around walking through the woods, like that was half the movie, you know.
Yeah.
Something along the lines of 20 to 25%, if you look at it carefully, is stock footage. And you
Oh,
can
okay.
tell because the foliage doesn't match, you know? So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So yeah, and you know me, I tend to pick out stuff in the background. I have that kind of peripheral vision. So when things like that don't match, it just leaps out for me.
I
I can't help it.
I started noticing that so I mentioned on the last podcast that you point out the annoying shit of people leaving the door open,
Oh,
and stuff.
yes.
And there was a sex scene with Corey Haim and Nicole Eggert in a thing, and they kept the door open, and I'm like, who the fuck does that? Nobody does that, Like if you're gonna hook up, you're gonna shut that door so nobody walks in, unless that was the point of the plot. If somebody was gonna walk in, oops,
Well,
nobody did.
my theory of that is that it happens a lot on independent productions because they can't afford a continuity guy. And the director's just trying to get the shot, the actor's just trying to get his cue. They do their thing and they just leave the door open and nobody thinks about it because
I
continuity
think
guy.
about that crap.
Oh,
I
sure, we do.
Well, I mean, I write in my scripts that person shuts the door, like, that's just simple shit. I mean, that's something that somebody should be doing. But anyway, but in this movie, I mean, I don't remember them leaving the door open when they were in the cabin thing, so I don't think
Oh,
that
his
was,
particle board cabin.
yeah. So I don't think that was a problem. That didn't bother, like, I didn't notice it. So if it did, I didn't notice it. But that little
It's
things. I don't know.
it's distracting because it takes you out of the moment and it underlines the artifice of the scene because, like you said, people don't generally do that.
Mm,
But there are other things in the film that happens. Like, for example, when our main guy who's on your screen, that's Master Hughes, he goes and he's tracking Biff, the guy in the first scene who gets killed,
hmm.
and he's wandering all over the place talking to himself. I'm like, really?
That drove me nuts. It's like, or like when he's like, "What? I guess it's time to go to bed." I'm like, "Who are you talking to? Why didn't they like put another person in this film for you to talk to?
You see,
No, you want to just be
see.
this guy? All right, be this guy."
All right. So once again, if you were with Paul, Paul will say that because that is a constant thing. Like, when we watch a movie together and somebody's talking to themselves, Paul's always like, "Who are you talking to?" Right? And so when I was watching it, that's my thought in my head is Paul would be freaking out right now, going, "Who are you talking to? Why are you talking to yourself like this?" Because, yeah, you're right. Nobody just, I mean, I talk to myself. But I don't go around going, like, he was not just talking to himself. He was telling every single thing he was about to do.
Right,
And
That's
right.
what I
that,
do when I talk to a toddler because I want them to learn like a stream of consciousness as I'm doing things so that they develop more language skills.
maybe
There's no
he's trying to
3-year-old.
develop more
What are you
language
doing?
skills.
Maybe he was trying to teach the Bigfoot to speak English.
Maybe. I mean,
Well,
he
he
did.
only had one sound clip the entire movie, so yeah, he did need a little bit more vocabulary. It was just that over and over. I don't think they had a second sound clip for that guy.
Nope,
I
nope.
don't know though, because like there were times where I heard something and I wasn't sure if it was like almost like the Bigfoot singing and then this Bigfoot growled, you know. I just heard
Well,
something in the background.
I definitely picked out bear noises, and I
Hmm.
definitely picked out some other animal noises that I think they were trying to conflate to be Bigfoot, but I wasn't buying it because I've heard bear noises and I've heard other animal noises. Even
Hmm.
a Podunk City boy like me can pick out a bear noise versus a Bigfoot, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was sort of funny also when they were like talking about like he's like, I thought I saw something in the woods that was standing up on its hind legs, right? Because when they're like the woman, the like I don't know, assistant, whatever she was to that guy, and then
Mhm.
the main guy, the Master Hughes guy, and then his friend who was like telling him I can't find Biff, or whatever. I mean, I was getting confused, by the way. He was like, I can't find Biss. And I was like, so was it just that he
Biff,
kept calling
Biff,
him
I
and he kept
know.
calling him and it just never answered?
Like you call, walk 2 feet, call, walk 2 feet, call, walk 2 feet, call. If he's not answering you 10 feet ago, he's not going to answer you. You know what I mean? It's not going to keep answering. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then, but then it was like, oh, there's something over there that's like standing on its hind legs, and they're like, I don't think there's a bear out here and stuff like that. And I was like, what the fuck? Like,
It feels like there was no script. It feels like
there probably
everything was
wasn't.
improv.
Oh, you know what? On the IMDb, there's no screenwriter listed. So there might not actually have been a script. I mean,
That would not surprise me. But that's what it
so
feels like, don't you think?
yeah. I mean,
Because
That makes
there's
sense.
that one scene to me is the one sort of big fail. Is right before the first time when he hears the Bigfoot stomping around and he goes to investigate. He's going over to this horrible looking bed in the horrible looking particle board cabin that he's in, and he's mumbling to himself. And then he takes out a quarter and he tries to bounce it off the bed, and he's like, tight as a rock or something like that. And first of all, that doesn't make any sense. Secondly, why are you doing that? Thirdly, who cares? And fourthly, you screwed up the scene with the quarter because it just goes. If you're trying to demonstrate that somebody made a nice, tight, neat bed, you didn't do a very good job, and
right.
you only did one
I mean,
take. It
why
just
does that even
went on.
like, yeah. Um, we've done better improv on like Robert Elkins, movies or whatever. Like, Zombie Isle or, the stuff like that. Like those are better, quality stuff and everything because I don't
Agreed.
think anybody's ever talked to themselves. Usually he'll have two people together. Oh no, wait, I take that back. Nightmare on Bunny Man Bridge, he had a drunk guy talking to himself, which is himself, but it was funny. And that was like the point was the drunk guy was just like,
Well, when you're
bummed.
drunk, you do things you don't normally do.
Right.
Sometimes you might talk to yourself or sing to yourself or just be a little bit goofy, but under normal circumstances, I don't, other than to maybe curse, if I like drop something and I'll be like, shit, that's about the only time I ever speak if there's nobody there, you
I don't know,
know?
I talk
Mhm.
all the time, so like, you can imagine me like by
That's true.
myself. I probably still do it. But not everybody's me. I mean, Paul probably does not talk to himself. Stephanie, you probably don't talk to yourself like that all the time, and when you're alone. And here's the thing. When I heard the title Alone with Bigfoot, I got kind of excited for a second because I thought we were going to follow Bigfoot's life. And
Nope.
that was going to be the thing. We're alone with Bigfoot. Bigfoot was walking around, and I think that would have been a more entertaining movie as if we saw everything through the Bigfoot's perspective. That's the Alone with Bigfoot movie I wanted to see, but unfortunately we didn't get that. We got movies where scenes where they were not alone with Bigfoot. What does that even mean? Like that's the
I'm kind of glad we did not get that movie because I 10 to 1 what we would have gotten is voyeur Bigfoot and we'd have been watching women take showers because that's what lonely ass Bigfoot in the woods would have been doing,
No, not
if
necessarily, but
for
he would
men
attack.
doing.
He would attack, which he would do every now and then. It reminded me of like, so they did a horror film, and I can't remember the title, but they did a horror film where it was like Friday the 13th, but like through Jason's point of view, but it wasn't Jason. It was like just a killer in the woods, and he came back to life, and then he started like you followed him while he was, killing people or whatever. You didn't really follow the victims, like you do in the movies. You were kind of seeing it through his point of view, and I like that. Thought that was a really cool idea. That sort of I think would have been awesome because we never know what Bigfoot does when Bigfoot isn't
Are
attacking him.
you saying Bigfoot is a serial killer?
Kind of. I mean, he's a killer. He's a hunter. You know. He's killed multiple people. So he's
I don't really know about that. I think most of the things that I've read, Bigfoot runs the hell away whenever he sees people.
you never can find him. He's the
Well, he doesn't
hide and
exist,
he's the hide
so
and seek champion of the world, buddy.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, 99% of the stories around Bigfoot, which yeah, it doesn't exist, but even so, you see him, he runs off. They're tracking him, he runs off.
Hmm.
He's not a serial killer, so why are you making him into one?
Steph, what did you think of what do you think of Bigfoot movies?
Um, I haven't seen a lot of them, but it was the first time it really felt like this was like a murderous Bigfoot. It was an interesting take. Um, yeah, that's about it. I guess. I mean, I knew it was a horror. I knew they were going to do that to him, but I guess it wasn't ever anything I would think of as a murderous Bigfoot. That was definitely not something that was in my expectation list for a horror movie.
Yeah, he definitely got up on the wrong side of the woods because he was murderizing everybody.
Well, I
Yep.
mean, and that's more of what I do expect out of these Sasquatch movies, is that
Mhm.
Bigfoot is protecting his territory. So you are, crouching on his home. You're uninvited. He's going to kill you because of it. Now, I want a movie like Bigfoot with a shotgun, like
Well,
something
see,
like
the
that.
thing about it is that animals protect their territory because if not, they overlap with other animals. A wolf will protect, or a cat will protect an area because if it doesn't, it's going to lose out because there's other cats nearby and they claim territory. How many Bigfoots are there? I mean, there's an entire universe out there that the Bigfoot could just leave, which is why most of the time he just runs away. He doesn't really have a motivation to kill people other than in this movie, he's turning people into ribs,
Yeah,
pork
pretty
ribs,
much.
packages of pork ribs, which, as you can see on my picture there, is the same couple packages of pork ribs that were used over and over and over and over multiple times for people. The worst one being the last one where the guy is still breathing. You could see his chest going up and down. And they most likely ate the ribs for dinner right after the movie was shot, too, because why waste good ribs?
Hmm.
But that's sort of an example of the poor special
Maybe
effects.
maybe that was the maybe that was catering, That was their dinner for, a job well done for the night. Let's eat
Catered
some
by
ribs.
Bigfoot.
Catered by Bigfoot. That's now that would be a great that would be a fun little catering company. Was a catered by Bigfoot.
Hmm.
I'd do it. Um, but yeah, it was just silly.
So let me talk a little bit about the cast. There isn't a lot, but I'll go over what we have. So our buddy, Master Hughes, plays Mark. He's I guess you would call the hero. He's
That guy.
the older guy who ends up sticking him with a stick, even though that didn't work. But he's the one who mumbles to himself in the middle of nowhere. Bradford Roberts, who's an actual actor who's been in a bunch of stuff. He plays Biff, who was the first Bigfoot victim. He is a local Texas actor, so he's worked in a bunch of Texas productions, but he's also worked in such movies as Ebony Hustle, Bring Them Black, The Dealership, Old Man Jackson, and a few short films and TV episodes and such like that. So he's kind of a workaday Texas actor. So he would have been local, and I imagine Master Hughes had no problem needing somebody. He just kind of reached out and said, "Oh, you're an local actor. We'll give you this nice little role," and he's in there for what, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and that's it. Nice, easy role. Then we have Ma and Pa. I'm sorry, Ma and Kid. That is Mark's secretary, who is played by Panda Butler, and her kid, who is played by Daniel Butler. They've never done anything prior or since,
And I'm guessing they were real son and mother,
of course.
from based on the last name, I would hope.
Absolutely. And there are a couple other folks who pretty much this is their only thing, or they work exclusively with Master Hughes. I can tell you, according to the sources I looked into, this movie was made for $10,000. I'm having trouble believing that, frankly. I'm wondering if even $1,000 was spent.
Even $10 was that even
The rental of the Bigfoot suit, maybe, because of course it's one of those suits where the mouth never moves. So,
Yep.
yeah. And a lot of it was filmed in Arkansas, so take that for what it's worth. The movie actually has a Facebook site with it, and if you go to it, like I did, you will find lots of pictures and some information and some stuff. So he definitely, when he was making the film, was sort of putting it out there so that fans could find him. But I don't know that there are a lot of people who even know that this exists, unfortunately. But it is
Unfortunately
on.
or fortunately?
Well, you know me, I love my stinky movies, but this movie is on Prime and it's on Tubi. But just a whole lot. I mean, this feels like one of those movies that was made during the pandemic because you could easily make a movie out of B-roll and stock footage, and you only need like 10 minutes of an actual human being.
Mm-hmm.
You got a whole movie right then and there. So, and I imagine a lot of this stuff is stuff he's used from his other earlier Bigfoot movies too.
For sure.
So that's about it as far as cast goes. The only other thing I wanted to really talk about or bring up with the editing, and that's another problem too. Did you notice the bad editing? Did you notice how we jump all over the place? It's like you're looking at this guy, then you're looking at the tree, then you're looking at the Bigfoot, then you're looking at a pot, then you're looking at somebody else doing something, and I'm like, wait, what? Are we all OCD here? Do we need our meds? What's going on?
It's more like ADHD.
ADHD.
Yeah, not OCD, but that would actually be the OCD would be cleaner. It would be better. It would be more, structured. This was ADHD where it was all over the place. And yeah, there was a couple cool shots I actually liked. There was one where like it just sort of zoomed in a little quicker, and maybe it was a cut, but like it was in the woods and it kind of zoomed up and I was like, "Oh, that looked cool." And then there was a couple other like little cool shots, but like aside from that, really most of it was trash and bad and just not, well done. Yeah.
Yeah, there was one scene I kind of liked where I guess he's wandering around the woods, which is most of the movie, and he pauses, and for whatever reason, we look at this little tiny waterfall at a creek. I mean, it looked nice. It didn't really add much to the movie or to the narrative, but at least it looked kind of nice.
Yeah.
Steph, I saw you nodding your head when I mentioned the editing, so I know you must have picked it out too.
Yeah, just jumbled and hard to really get into because you never know what they're going to jump to. And I mean that could be part of the charm. If you enjoy bad editing, this is the movie for you. It is. Yeah. Um, uh, yeah. I mean that's part of it too. It being like a small film and like you could tell there's passion, but there's there's not. I think when passion exceeds the ability to step back and be, what would the word be objective, be able to see it from someone else's eyes rather than your own. I think there's a lot that gets lost in editing.
Hmm.
I think you're right, and I think this is one of those examples of the story makes perfect sense to Master Hughes up here, but
Yes.
he did not translate that
Mm.
through through the filmmaking process, but mostly through the editing process, because editing is where you tell your story. And
Hmm.
because we are jumping all over the place all the time, it ruins the narrative flow. So, you know what I mean? You end up seeing the story in a very fractured way, and all you can think of is where are we going next, and why did I bother to see that particular scene
Right.
if it leads nowhere?
No, I absolutely agree with that. That was just it doesn't make any sense most of the time. And I mean, I get it when you don't have a lot of people, right? This is what I mean. They kind of tell you this is the normal thing, like that people are looking for in film stuff. They want a movie where there's not many locations, there's not many actors, but this is the exact reason why I'm scared of those things because a lot of it's just boring. There's not a lot of actors. That's why you generally have horror films where there's like four or five characters together hanging out, talking and stuff, and that just brings the time, up. Otherwise, you've got a movie like this where most of the time it's just one person walking around because that's all they had at the time,
Right.
is just one
Well,
person.
I think the biggest problem with that is because they treated Bigfoot as a very one-dimensional, flat character. All he does is rah rah kill. That's it. There's no mystery. There's no investigation. There's no hunting or tracking, or there's no mythology. You know what I'm saying? There's 100 years of Bigfoot sightings that go back into Native American times of all these stories and legends. Why not bring some of that into there? Had a couple other characters, bring some depth to the story. Otherwise, it's just that's it.
I know. At one point he calls this Sasquatch Harry Henderson, and I just kind of laughed a little bit. I was like, "This guy's old," like that. Nobody even. I guarantee you, I talk to most people nowadays, they won't remember Harry and the Hendersons,
No,
and everything.
no.
Steph, have you heard of that movie?
No.
Okay, see, she didn't even get the joke, but
It's a
like, there,
Hollywood stinker.
it's a Hollywood stick. Well, that's a fun one. As a kid, I loved it. It's a kid movie, but it's basically a family accidentally hits Bigfoot, and then they bring him
Accidentally.
home accidentally. Like he's in the road, and then they knock right into him, and they tie him up on their car, and they think they're gonna bury him, but he wakes up, and he, right, and they bring him to his house, and he becomes their pet, and stuff. Pet Bigfoot. And it's just a goofy comedy. It's a lot of fun to me as a kid. I loved it, and I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
And
Probably.
even that explanation is 10 times more plot than what we got in this film.
Oh yeah. I mean, that right there actually made sense. This movie, if you like explained it to somebody, like the story, I mean, it's just a guy in the woods that's looking for his friend, stumbles upon Bigfoot. These other two people, go out there too for whatever reason.
Because why? Why
Well,
you
no,
bring
I
your
mean
child?
the child wanted to go, and
And you
then he
tell
had
him
to,
no.
and that's what he thought his mom was gonna do, right? Was gonna say no, but the mom and him went out there for whatever reason, and
Mhm.
there was no reasoning to it.
Well, I think what happened is I'm willing to bet Master Hughes said, okay, look, if you bring the kid in here, so I have somebody other than just me in this film, I'll let the kid do the kill shot on the Bigfoot. Because if you notice, that's what happens. He picks up the gun, he shoots him, and then Bigfoot's like, "Oh, you got me," and he just floats
Oh my
over.
God, that was
Boy,
the
howdy.
that right, Steph? Wasn't that the worst death like thing? Like he's like, "Arr."
He actually
you
I
said
know?
remember. Like, what's going on?
the first time I saw that, I lost my shit so much. I just laughed. It was so funny.
So stupid. But and then he's magically gone, and everything like that, which is another thing Paul usually hates because that's a supernatural thing. Like, but if the thing isn't supernatural, then it makes no sense,
Well, and then like we shit on suburban Sasquatch, but you start watching more of these Bigfoot movies, and you'll see, aside from the special effects, suburban Sasquatch is not that bad of a film, and they even go into some of the background. Our false Native American girl talks a little bit about the background and about the magical sort of mythological nature of Bigfoot, and kind of you know, predisposes us to understand why he can kind of sort of materialize at will or vanish at will, and you get to see that. Nothing like that is attempted in this film at all. They're
Mm-mm.
not even thinking about that. The
They don't
whole
care.
thing is, Bigfoot is a big scary grr, and that's it.
Hmm.
Mhm.
You could have made that a werewolf. You could have made that a Frankenstein monster. You could have made it a bear. You could have made it anything.
Wendigo.
Yeah, it almost feels like he had a leftover Bigfoot suit from his other movies, and so let's just make another Bigfoot movie because I got the suit.
Well, and I think the other Bigfoot movies came out after. So I think what it is that he was just a Bigfoot enthusiast, maybe. Like he somehow believes that this is real, So he was like, I'm gonna make my horror movie based on it, and then I'm gonna make a documentary and two documentaries. There's two fucking things
There's
of that.
four.
Well,
There's four of those
although
Kimiachi movies.
no, but two Bigfoot ones though, right?
Yes, there's two Bigfoot prophecy ones.
Yeah, Bigfoot Prophecy, but then the other two are two like other documentaries, but about the woods and the stuff that's in the woods or whatever. And, he reminds me of the BC-14 guy, except just live action instead of the
Hmm.
stuff. Like it's just the same shit, it seems.
Right, right. And that's the thing. You would think that after he goes to the trouble of researching this for his other movies, you would bring some of that into your feature film. Just a little bit of something, you know?
Maybe,
I don't
maybe
know.
I don't know. I don't think Master Hughes, who I guarantee you, his friends and family have to call him Master.
I
Oh
know.
my God, what
Now,
a
the thing is,
ugh.
someday, Steph, I have to show you a movie called The Legend of Boggy Creek. That was made in the early 70s. It was one of the very first found footage type of films, even though there's only part of that in there. That's not the whole movie. It's sort of like a false documentary, but it convinced everyone, and it influenced all kinds of films from the 70s, 80s into the 90s, especially Bigfoot movies. It's actually very well done, and they sort of go into depth about there being a mystery involved. Like, that was really the key. It was this guy who grew up as a kid. He heard the stories, and then some late night he hears the cry and he thinks that's what it is, but then he moves away, goes on with his life, and then comes back and he finds all these stories and he wants to figure out what's going on. There's a mystery involved, just like there would be for any kind of cryptozoological creature.
Right.
None of that is attempted here.
No, I mean, literally, I think, like you said, there's probably no writing. So he just had like a mild concept of, Bigfoot in the woods killing people, like, and stuff, like hikers or like
So he kind of sketched it out on the back of a napkin during a coffee stop.
yeah, or something. And then he was like, let's just go out and just shoot this, and then we'll come up with everything on the fly. And I mean, granted, that's actually kind of cool because he made a feature length film that way, which isn't easy, I'd imagine, you know?
He had a crew.
He
He
had
had a camera guy. He had a guy in the suit, and he had himself. So there's at least three people there at any given time.
the sound wasn't bad, so I don't know what he used for the sound, but it wasn't, I could hear everything, you know?
Yeah, and that comes from his production background, so I will give him that. The sound was pretty decent, and some of the shots were decent, although I tend to think that most of the best ones were the stock footage ones that he bought. But
Yeah,
even so, at least you could see the stuff that he did most of the time. There are a few other ones they were kind of dark and
right,
or
but I mean, most
obscured
of
by
it
smoke.
was outside or they put like you said smoke, which is like a lot of fog machine. By the way, we were just at Hollow Scream, Stephanie, and Paul did not like the fog machine stuff. That did
Made
not
my
go.
eyes irritated.
Yeah, it irritated
Yeah.
him. Made his sinuses go off. It was just bad. It
But
was not. And then it followed him. It just kept. It
yeah,
was almost like a horror movie in itself. It just kept following
the
him.
fog.
The fog at Hollow Scream.
But
Mm.
even that was badly done because if you're doing it correctly, you're utilizing it so that it looks like some kind of natural mist and it's already sort of there. Every time it was used, he's like walking into it and it's coming out of the same place. It's like, what did somebody kick a hole in the ground and all the smoke's coming out? That's what
Hmm.
it looked like. That's not how nature works.
Mm.
That's not how the woods look.
Nope. Oh,
So I don't know. I don't know if any of this stuff bugged you, Steph, at all. Just the unnaturalness of the woods and everything.
Yeah, that and it really felt like they were walking around the same area the whole time. Like there just was not a lot of thought and effort put into the scenery in general. Not just
man.
the effects like the smoke machine, but just in general. It's just like, okay, all right, cool. I think we're to the left of the tree. Now we're to the right of the tree. Just yeah, just
Yeah, and that tree just kept coming back. Like the whole thing, like it was all the woods was the same woods that you see throughout the whole freaking movie, and yeah, you're right. They didn't put any thought into the
I fully
location.
accepted or expected the Bigfoot to pop out any second and say, "Follow me."
Ah, there you go. That was a movie we made, and it was a loop movie, and the same areas over and over again, and but that makes sense,
That made sense.
Like I'm like I'm not saying like I'm a better writer than Master Hughes, but I
I think we
actually
are. I think you are.
I try what I try to do with my stuff is try to at least make I like to have a script, have something because I don't like and maybe one day maybe Paul can drag me down somehow and I'll say okay, let's make a improv movie or something. That's what Paul's been wanting to do. But the problem with doing it is you have to film so much footage,
no.
because you don't know how much you're not going to end up using,
And
you
you
know?
got to have actors that you trust. And then secondly, it's never going to be 100%, made up on the spot. I mean, you could do that, but I don't recommend it. Generally, you're going to have a vague idea and you're going to say, okay, guys, I want you to talk about this in the scene.
Yeah.
And then just let them go. So you're
That's
giving them some direction.
Well, that's what, Robert would do. And Robert got to meet Stephanie at the Tidewater HorrorCon.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and everything. But Robert Elkins, he is very good at doing that stuff, especially in the woods and all that stuff. What he's very good at doing is telling his actors exactly what they're supposed to do, sort of like the lines that, he kind of wants them to say, sort of thing, so that we can go. And he's okay with like figuring it out as we go along. But like if he did this movie, well, he would make the Bigfoot costume and everything, and it would look great. And he would do a way better job because at least he would have something interesting going on.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point because if you were to see Zombie Isle, for example, which also has a lot of scenes of people walking around in the woods, it's completely different. It's a very different feel. There's a lot more going on. There's a lot more thought put into it, and there are scenes, even though they are improv, he's letting these actors do their thing, and it works. So every time I love seeing Crystal and April together because they played off of each other so well with their little characters. They were clearly having a lot of fun. They really sort of helped make that film what it was. There's nothing like that here, you know. So you have to
After a
kind of
while,
know
it
what
gets
you're doing.
after a while it just gets boring in this movie, and you're kind of like, I just want. I just want the Sasquatch to come out because I'm just, I don't want to see this guy just walking and talking to himself the whole freaking
You
time.
you had Bigfoot constipation. You wanted it to come out.
I did. It was bad.
He was a frightened turtle. Wouldn't come out.
Yep. Good
Now,
night.
the other guy I was thinking, of course, is Donald G. Jackson and Scott Shaw. They are the guys who make the quote unquote, Zen guerrilla style of
Well,
filmmaking, which a lot of them did not use scripts.
Roller
But
Gator.
yeah, well, okay, there was a script for Roller Gear, but again, it's the same kind of thing. It's not like they completely made up everything. What they did is they had general ideas about what they want to accomplish in the scene with these characters, and they just said, "You supply the dialogue and everything, and we'll just film it, and we'll utilize this background." So you can definitely do it. You just kind of have to know what you're doing, and also you got to have more people. This is one of those few times when I said I was going to say we needed more characters. We needed more people. Usually
Usually
there's
you
too many.
don't. Yeah,
Yeah,
usually there's too many. And now Paul is like saying, we need more people. That's pretty
don't you
bad.
think?
I mean, I'm so used to the horror films where it's a group of kids who go out into the woods and then they end up dying, or whatever, one
It
by
wasn't even a
one.
group though. We
I
didn't even
know,
get a
no, no,
group.
I'm saying that's what I'm used to. And this kind of thing, it's like three people most of the time, the mother, the son, and the old man, you know? I mean, it's
And
kind of
anybody
boring,
who else shows up is there for a moment and then gets turned into pork ribs.
pretty much, you know, which I like my pork ribs, you know. I just don't like
Yeah.
them I don't want them my special effects.
So, Steph, this is supposed to be a horror movie. So, were you frightened by any of it?
The closest I had to being frightened is frightened with boredom.
You were
No,
afraid it was going to keep going on and on?
Yeah. Luckily, I could see the timer and I knew how much was left. I was like, all right, only 20 more minutes. All right, only 10 more minutes. No, I mean, again, I hate to be always negative. Again, I know, passion is put into these projects, but yeah, it just, I had no attachment. So yeah, the fear was with the boredom.
Mm.
yeah, well, it's one of those movies where I was happy that Tubi had commercials, like I would rather watch the commercials at that time. I would rather watch the people, talking about our new, who's going to be the new governor than watching this stuff because I'm like, oh my God, can you please end?
Mhm.
Like this movie is just
Yeah,
an
at
hour and nine
least,
minutes or eight
yes, I
minutes.
know. At least it wasn't an hour and a half or 2 hours. Can you imagine?
If it were 20 minutes longer, I don't know. I like already in the hour and 9 minutes, I wanted to stop and go do something else for a while and come back. But I was like, you know what? It's just an hour and 8 minutes. Let me just get this through and I'm done. And then I don't have to deal with it anymore. And
Now, if he had approached this a lot more economically and made this into a short film, say 25 minutes or maybe 30 minutes max, and you got rid of some of the filler, you tightened stuff up, you could do that, I think. A skillful director could pull that off with the small crew, the small story, and sort of do that. But even an hour and 8 minutes was just too long for this
Yep.
film.
Mm-hmm.
Hard agree.
Yeah, I mean, I like an hour and 8 minutes, whatever, 9 minutes, whatever it was. I just after a while, I was just like, dude, I was happy it was over, and like it could have ended with like nothing happening, or it could have ended up with like a big explosion that just destroys the Earth. None of it mattered at that point. I was just like, just please, just be done, and that's. I mean, I'm not saying that that's a, I mean, like Stephanie said, there was a lot of passion with it. Like there was,
I
um.
guess I didn't really see it, frankly, but
Well, I did. I mean, I saw that this guy loves Bigfoot. He probably has Bigfoot pajamas, and walks, I
with
mean,
the
like a
feet,
Bigfoot onesie, with big feet, like whatever. Like go you. Be all
that would
about
be a lot more of an interesting movie.
Bigfoot onesie massacre. I'd be for
Bigfoot
that.
onesie massacre party. Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
so much fun.
I'd be down with that. But like, so there's a passion to it. I could tell, but it just lacked interestingness, It just it wasn't original. I mean, we've seen movies like this a million times, There wasn't anything different.
Like I
Um,
said, I think this all made sense to him up here, and I think the story existed and probably still does exist in his head. He just was unable to successfully bring it forth to the rest of us, and that's why we're grasping at straws trying to figure out what's going on with this film.
I think my favorite scene though is just the conversations that they had were so weird. And so like there's
Oh yeah.
where the guy walks in to talk to Pandra or whatever her name is, the woman there, and he's like discussing, I can't talk to Biff. I don't know. And then she like goes, "Well, what can I do about this?" Basically, right? And I was like, "Thank you. Like, what can you do? Like, that's just a weird way to like, but like I get it." And then he's like, "Well, can I talk to, your boss, or whatever?" And then you go and talk to that guy. And then their conversations is just weird. And like they're making jokes, but it seems odd, and everything. And I'm just like, this is just a group of people who are going out, making a
And
movie and don't know what they're doing.
and I keep thinking, in this universe, are there no cops? Are there no park rangers? Is there nobody else to help them?
I thought
Are
they were
these
the
the only
park
people?
rangers.
No, they're just
No,
people.
reason I thought that was because he had done a movie earlier and his name was Mark, you know? So he played Mark twice and one was a ranger Mark. So I thought he was the ranger and that he was just going out there to check on his friend or whatever those happened to be.
Well, if that's the case, they never bothered to establish that.
They didn't, but that's what I thought to my head when I saw that he had played, you know.
An office would have helped, a uniform would have helped, a car with
He
a
did have
thing
a uniform,
stenciled on
didn't
there.
he? He had a uniform.
No,
It was some
no.
kind of like thing on him. Like I thought that was a
He,
uniform.
he wore the same shit he wears when he goes to Denny's for his senior citizen discount breakfast.
All
Okay,
right.
that's the same thing.
I don't know. Looked like a uniform to me. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, that everything was just weird. I just didn't. All in all, it was not a good movie. No, it was pretty stinky. But is it the worst we've seen ever? No, I think even Steph will say roll.
Rolligator.
Yeah, I was gonna say a
I'm
roller
kidding.
gator for
I always
Steph.
have to.
Oh, come on, Roller Gator's mound's better than this.
I
So
just
much
like to
better.
troll you. It's too easy.
I
Sorry.
know.
I
I do get triggered. I love my little purple
Yes.
rapping alligator movie puppet.
um. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, we've seen even Actium Maximus was worse than this movie. Like, there's
Oh yeah,
way
yeah.
worse movies because most of those don't you can't hear them, you can't see them, you have no idea what's going on. I mean, there's really not much of a plot, but there's something, you sort of understand. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end in this movie for real. The middle just feels like it goes on for way too long. But there is
But
a
at the
beginning, a
same
middle, and an end.
time, it lacks like whimsy, it lacks
Yeah,
a spark, it lacks fun. Did you guys have any fun in this movie?
not really.
I made a Macari sale in the middle of the movie, which was fun.
Hey, there you go.
There you go.
That's
Outstanding.
something hey, that's fun. But aside from that, if you hadn't, that would have been a bust, and you would have
Yeah,
been,
yeah, yeah. But related to the movie, I mean, I think okay. The one thing I did want to say is that it did seem like the mom character really, really tried her best, and you could tell that she was really willing to. If she's most likely she's inexperienced. I had fun watching her act. That I should add. Yes, I had. That was the one part I did enjoy. Was it perfect? No, but did it seem like she attempted more successfully than the other characters? I think so.
well,
How would you compare this to Rock and Roll Frankenstein?
Oh my gosh. Well, Rock and Roll Frankenstein at least put humor in there. So like and they were goofy on purpose and terrible on purpose. And so you knew when they were being doofy. So like that's different than this where it felt like I think everyone's trying, but man, I don't know if I can. I don't know. It's hard.
after a while, like this is the kind of movie that riff tracks kind of would have a fun time with, I think, because it's
Either
probably
that
a
or
lot.
they would turn it down for being too boring because, at least
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Frankenstein, I think, was trying to be funny and trying to be fun. I don't think that's what this movie was trying to do. I think
No.
this
Well,
movie was trying to be a horror movie and it failed miserably.
It was
yeah,
serious.
too serious. Kind of like a Tommy Wiseau kind of thing, where he thinks he's making a great movie,
There,
and
yeah.
he's like
Mhm.
not.
Without the massive colossal ego that Tommy Wiseau has, but
Right.
you can tell, yeah, there's a little bit there. Master Hughes has definitely got a bit of
A
an
little bit of an
ego thing
ego,
going on. Yeah,
Who doesn't? That
this
makes
is
but
movies.
this is fluttering with the idea of being a vanity project. Very close.
kind of. But like, I think the one thing about Master Hughes is I think he's probably like a normal average guy when you meet if you met him, or whatever, with his average friends who are just like, and he's just like, I'm gonna go make a movie, why not? I'm retired or whatever, and I feel like making, getting into the film business. And then he goes out with his friends and he makes a movie, and I don't think he's like going out there being like an asshole or anything, or
No,
or
no, no,
or
no, no.
you know what I mean? Like, because Tommy Wiseau, I hate to say it, but I don't think he was a nice guy when he directed
Right,
and
right.
stuff like that.
I just don't see the passion that you're talking about for the Bigfoot. I see the passion for making these films because he's clearly gone on and made a whole bunch of these. I think that's where the
Mhm.
passion is for this guy. The fact that he has a production company, he teaches other people production techniques, and he's out there making movies. I think that's where the passion is. I just think the subject matter in this particular case just didn't get the intensity or the interest that it deserved in order to make this a better film, in my opinion. But then,
Mhm.
like you said, this is one of his earlier films, so you learn a lot in your early films. So we can cut
Mhm.
him a break in that
Oh
regard, I
yeah.
think.
I mean, for somebody's first film, it isn't the worst thing I've seen. I mean, Dustin Ferguson does way worse movies than this guy, and everything. And people like that, like I feel like those are the movies that are sort of ruining,
He
stuff out
didn't
there.
have cardboard sets. He didn't have a cardboard phone.
That's true.
And somebody off camera going, ring.
Yeah, well, yeah, like real. But he did have a scene where, he's inside the cabin and he hears a noise, and he goes back out, then he goes back in, hears the noise again, goes, and I was like, how many times are we gonna see this, man?
I see you, Bigfoot. I love
Right.
how the characters would say that. It's kind of like, really, you're actually saying that? That doesn't, like, in your mind think, what the hell am I doing talking to Bigfoot? You expect
Does
him
he
to
speak
answer back?
English?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Bigfoot's gonna be like, hey, what's up? You want to party? You want to hang out? Want to play poker? Now,
Yeah.
Bigfoot playing poker, that would be an interesting movie, you
Yeah,
know.
well, that would be great. Instead of that painting where all the dogs are playing poker, it's a bunch of Bigfoots playing poker. That'd be fun.
Bigfoot, Yeti, Loch Ness Monster, all of them playing
Yeah.
poker together.
So it's a bad movie. Now, we've definitely seen worse. Hip Hop Locos, for example. I would never
Mhm.
give you that stuff. There's just no way you
Yeah,
could
he
go through
says
that.
that for just Jen, not just Steph, you know.
Just
Uh,
Jen has built a rind at this point. She's tough.
if you make it a few more years, maybe he may give you tough stuff like that, but you may not want that. You may not come back after that, like
Yeah, we're trying to sort of dangle fun, ridiculous ones in front of you right now.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like
This
I see I'm more prone to things like Rock and Roll Frankenstein or Cannibal the Musical.
Yes, we love that. Here,
Those
the
are
South
those
Park
are my favorite.
guys.
Or, we already did it, but Fungicide I think would have been a perfect one for you.
That's yep.
The little mushroom puppets that attack people. I think you would have enjoyed that.
Yeah, or
That
Suburban
sounds adorable.
Sasquatch, which we did. I think you'd like that a lot better. That's a more
Yeah.
well-made movie than this
If
one.
if we get you down here sometime again, have you watch some of the movies that we've seen. In fact, that might even be a fun thing to do, is to do a show where we just kind of do the movies we've already done, but we get some of our friends who haven't seen them before so that they can experience it for the first time. Because I think some of these
Well, it's
other
kind of what
movies,
we did with her and Roller Gator,
yeah, it
and
is.
everything. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how she feels about some of that. Just don't give her the really bad ones that
Right, 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 right.
you know. But anyway, I don't know. All in all, out of all the movies that you show me, Paul, this isn't nearly as bad, but it's still up there as like
Mhm.
pretty high up there.
I agree. I agree. Okay, well, we're just about at that time where we have to start thinking about rating our film. And for the benefit of you folks out there in podcast land, we score our film on a 1 to 10 scale, by which the lower the number, the better the film. The higher the number, the stinkier it is. So think about it as a stink dial, and if you're turning it all the way up, you're just increasing the odor of the stink. And usually it's because the movie has a lot of problems. Like we've mentioned, you either couldn't see it, couldn't hear it, couldn't understand it, made no sense, characters vanish or drop out or pop in for no reason, all kinds of stuff, terrible special effects, all that stuff. We still love them, we
Hmm.
still find them entertaining, but they definitely have problems. And then, you can score it, kind of you can give it a half step if you're not quite sure what score you want. So 5.5, 8.5, something like that. And then we take our three scores, we add them together, and then we see where on the ladder of stink this particular film falls for this particular season. So this is an early season, the early part of the season. We've only had, what, two other movies so far? Moody?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did one by just recently without you, and then we did one together with John Ward.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got two so far.
But I don't know which one your second one was, but this one might be a little worse than the first two, I think.
Yeah.
But we're gonna see. So who would like to score the movie first?
Do you want to do it, Steph?
Yeah, so since I could hear it, since I could see it, and my only issue was that I struggled to hold interest, I'm gonna give it a 7.
Nice.
Okay, that's a very good score.
All right. I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I think it was bad, but it's not nearly as bad as some of the other movies. And I was looking at a few of the other ones we got on the Stinkometer scores and stuff. And from look at like Suburban Sasquatch, we gave it an 8. Paul and I both gave it an 8, and Just Jen gave it a 7. And Bigfoot Wars, Paul gave it a 6, I gave it a 7. So
Those were better.
those were better. So I'd say 8.5.
Okay. Yeah, I think I thought it was a little bit worse than both of you, so I'm gonna go with a 9.
Yep.
It's
Wow.
bad. It's bad, but it's not 10 worthy, and it's definitely not 10 plus worthy.
Mm-mm.
So it doesn't quite reach that level of stink. But it ain't good. It ain't good. A
Mm-mm.
lot of problems, But like I said, this was an early film. I imagine he learned a lot. At least I hope he learned a lot. And there are other Master Hughes movies out there, so I'm sure I will pick another one for us. Probably Bigfoot Prophecy somewhere along the lines, because that's a wackadoodle film. It's actually a lot more interesting than this one. And that's kind of the biggest sin I had with this particular film, is that it was boring. You know,
Yep.
it was just dull. Not much happened.
No, nothing happened really.
Nothing of consequence.
Yeah, so that's a 24.5 on the Stink score. That is the highest so far that we've had.
But there's a lot of movies worse than that we've done.
That's right. So hold on. Yeah. Um what is it? Yeah, the 24.5 as opposed to the other two which got the first one we did got 18.5 and the next one what's 14 plus 8?
22.
22. Yeah. So we're in the basically we're up there already. We started off kind of kicking it off almost in
So
the
we're
beginning.
going downhill.
Yeah, up to we got to make it 30 soon, and I bet Paul was like, "Hold my beer."
Well,
You
heck,
know.
we talked about season 10 being the seasons of the tens, and us purposely dragging out as many 10 worthy movies as possible.
I don't
But
even know if I have like that many, in me. I know Paul does. Paul's got
oh yeah,
so many that he can make a whole season full of them, but I don't know if I could.
nah.
I always think so, and then we end up not making it. Like others don't agree with me on it, and everything.
This one ain't good, but it's not that bad. It's not a
No.
10.
No, it's not. I mean, there were that the thing is, like, I will agree that there were problems that are pretty good stuff with this, like the sound quality and I mean, and things made sense enough. Like I know you said, Paul, that it went ADHD and went all over the place, but I think it made enough sense where I could follow the
Some of
story.
the music I thought was pretty good. Some of his shots I thought were pretty good. Um, you
I
know,
I did send you guys, and Steph laughed or liked it or whatever is the picture of the Bigfoot sign. It was like,
Yes.
yeah, it's like some
Turn back now. Oh my
turn back
turn
god.
back
now.
now.
And I like
I think that was the attempted humor, the one attempted humor in this.
I know because like that is sort of like that would be a cartoon, right?
Right,
Where
right.
and this is how you do that. So Master Hughes, listen up. This is how you make that funny. This is what I would have done. I would have had a sign that says Bigfoot is here or whatever, right? Then another sign, a little bit down saying turn back now, whatever, right? Like a couple signs until it's just like, okay, you're fucked, right? And that would have been funny. But like their attempt at humor here didn't make any like, it was just one big sign that said Bigfoot, Bigfoot here, turn back now, and it just made no sense. But
See,
it
I
is,
would have I would have made it funny but weird. I would have had, you always have that one character who goes up to them and says, "Don't go in those woods. I know everything about it. That's really evil and bad and terrible. And there's Bigfoot running around killing people." I would have had that character there, except I would have had Bigfoot in clothes doing it. Don't you see? There's a Bigfoot in there, and it's a Bigfoot telling him that.
that's definitely a comedy, not a horror thing, to
Right.
have that. We did Stephanie, we did Popeye the Slayer Man, you know. It was Popeye the Sailor Man as a killer or whatever.
He was in public domain, I'm guessing. Is that how they got away with
Yeah,
that?
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Olive Oil is in public domain now too, and all the characters.
It was a
Um,
spinach canning plant that he haunts
Did they have the hamburger guy?
for like 2 seconds. Wimpy.
he's
Yeah.
in it for 2 seconds, like he's ordering food or something, at the bar or
He's
whatever.
he's trying to get a free burger and they won't let him have it.
And then he
Man,
walks away. I did not even know that was him or whatever. Paul had to point that out to me. I was like, oh, okay.
he's my favorite. That's why I
Yeah,
just had to double
I
check.
know. I love Wimpy.
yeah. And I think they say his name, so I just didn't catch it when I watched it.
The other thing that might have been fun would be a reverse Bigfoot movie. That could be fun,
Like, what does that mean?
where everybody in the movie is a Bigfoot, and they're like, "There's a human in that woods," and they're like, "No, that's stupid. There's no humans in there. There is. I see what every time. Nah, bullshit. Just do go camping, and everybody's a Bigfoot, but they're all dressed like humans."
Dio wants to be in this thing. He wants to, Did Dio watch it?
He's
He
adorable.
fell asleep.
Oh, and he fell asleep.
He's busy plotting his next escape. That's why.
Yeah, probably. Yes, thank you, buddy. I love
I
heart
can
attacks.
I can see the twinkle in his eyes, like, yeah, just
I
you
got
wait.
my next buddy right here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a little squishmallow, and I got him at 5 below, um, and now he's gonna be coming with me to Scares That Care weekend and everything.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
I'm glad to see you made it, considering that you had to drive all that way. At least you weren't squished into the seat with all that stuff on top of you.
You made it home safely.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
were
yeah.
we were worried, but you did it.
Moody, did
it
you see
was.
the picture that I
Yes,
took?
you sent me it. Yeah, it's cute.
I
It's
literally was one with the stuffies.
Yeah, but you know what? That's wonderful.
And she got so nervous when the cop was behind us. She's like, "Oh my God, you turn over, please pull over,
Get,
pull
get
over."
off this exit. The cop's right behind us, and we're literally overstuffed in this
Yeah,
We were
car.
stuffed beyond belief.
I was
stuffed
like,
with stuffies.
no.
Stuffed with stuffies. I love it.
Yep, yep, yep. But I pulled over and he went on his merry way, and we were both like, whew.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need this. Like, I just broke even, and like the con runners came around basically saying like this was like not what we expected. Like, we did not get the attendance even close to the prior years, and I was just like, well, it's good to know it's not me.
No,
Oh
and
no, it wasn't you.
oh, I bet you would have done really well had they been a bigger attendance.
Yeah, I
Oh
think so too.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah, so it was kind of a bummer year, but I still had a good time. I mean, that was
yeah, me too.
I'm looking forward to Scares That Care because I got my own hotel room and I can just chill and
I'm sure it would have been regular attendance. We would have gotten both of those dragon stuffies sold. That was what I was really trying to do.
yeah, you
Yeah,
should have
yeah.
just came up to people and said, "Buy this, buy it."
Nobody had like, dude, like yeah, like I feel like yeah, if there was more people, definitely. But
Yeah,
like there, like I would have been shouting it to the same three people walking around the conference.
Well, you kind of were. There were like two or three that sort of glommed onto you for and would talk to you for hours, and I'm like, buy. If you're gonna talk to her, at least buy stuff. Come on.
That's
yeah.
really normal. Like I have a lot of interests that a lot of people that are on the spectrum have interests in, and I know that they don't have a lot of people to talk to about these things. So I just let them. I know that they're not going to get that opportunity very often, and sometimes I do get drained, but at the same time I'm like whatever. Like I don't I look back and I'm like I'm glad I did it. You know what I mean? Like there's
Right.
no regret. So it's like but yeah, it does get draining.
No,
It
no
does.
regrets. No, none of
No
that.
regrets.
But it was wonderful to see that because I would leave, I'd go do stuff for a little bit while you guys are there, and I come back and you're still talking to the same person I left you with, and I was and I loved it. I thought, oh man, at least you made a friend there, like that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like that person's
The
gonna
one drunk
leave.
guy. Whew.
Oh, that fun. Oh man, asking him what that was that drink, and he said happiness. I laughed so hard. I was like, "Yeah, you go, dude." Because this was blue. It was a blue drink.
Yeah. I think
So
we guessed blue motorcycle.
Nick and blue motorcycle was probably what he had.
And I had fun, I at first I was thinking, when I volunteered, I was like, well, I just want to make sure that, that Steph's covered and, if she needs to run off and use the restroom or needs to get some food, somebody's there to watch her stuff. And I thought, it'll be kind of meh, yeah, I might get bored. I didn't really get bored.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I enjoyed it. I liked talking to folks. I liked trying to sell people stuff, or I liked rearranging the merchandise so that people could see it better. And
I
it was kind of fun. I enjoyed it.
I realized like because when I would do it and everything, when anybody like walked by, I'd be like, "Hi," right? Just saying hello to anybody, and even if they had no interest in the stuff or whatever, and they were just walking by, just say hi, And but I do that when we were in Sick Flick production stuff because I would just not because I was bored or anything, but because in fact I definitely wasn't bored at all. We had people to talk to that were
Yeah,
next to
yeah,
us,
yeah,
and
yeah.
there was things to do, but like it was still just like I wanted, if somebody wants to come over here, I wanted them to feel like, that this wasn't a place where they would feel, that they couldn't. With Steph, they just naturally like, the people sort of, kind of naturally drifted toward her, so she didn't need to say anything.
Well, because she filled a niche that really nobody else was offering, which I thought was good. I mean, yeah, you're going to do better at more of a con oriented towards that, but at the same time, you were offering stuff that nobody else was offering. So,
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if we had the amount of attendance that they had in prior years, I probably still would have done better than the average vendor there just because the people that were there that were into it were really into it. I mean,
mhm.
really into it.
Mhm.
So I think it was a numbers thing. I think if there was just more people, like, yeah, maybe only 1 in 10 people there were into the anime, but the 1 in 10 that were into it were into it.
Yeah,
And just
absolutely.
think, if we had managed to get a corner table and we could have put two tables up and put more stuff out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
You
yeah.
could have
That
put
would have
more
helped
stuff. I
too.
think that would have helped too. Yeah, because you
Oh yeah, I
you
had a
had so much.
lot more stuff. I had out about a fourth of what I had, if
And
even. So yeah, that would have
I
helped.
remember some people were even asking for certain stuff, and you were like,
Mhm.
"Shit, I don't have that
And the game
out."
systems. There were a
Like
number of people that asked for the game systems.
they wanted the freaking Sailor Moon, they wanted JoJo, they wanted a few
Oh,
like
JoJo, yeah.
certain things. I
Oh
have
yeah.
no idea what any of that was. So whenever they came up to the table and asked me stuff, I was like, "They're like, what is this?" I was like, "I don't look at it.
Toys.
It's in Japanese, so I can't."
I didn't
And
get
then,
too much of that. Oh, I had just had the one guy come up to me and be like, "You need to bring that Chrono Trigger game to the game store because it's worth a lot more than that." And I'm like, "Not the Japanese copy."
well, and it was funny because, like, you're right. You might not have gotten that, and I got it. So I think I got it because I didn't know what the frick I was talking about, or whatever, my eye. Sorry, I got something in my eye.
I don't know if you can
But
hear my dog running around. Okay.
it was fun. I enjoyed it. I liked having the Hawaiian food. That was really good.
That was so
Yeah, it
good. What
really
was that?
was. It was neat, and I'm glad I got to the Amish place and got us the cinnamon rolls. That was yummy,
Or
and
that we
yeah,
found
I
that
had a good
Hawaiian
time.
place, and that was good.
And I don't know if I thanked you for letting me help you out on Sunday, but thank you because
Well,
that was
no,
it was
thank
Yeah.
you
fun.
guys so much. That was a really helpful weekend, and it was just a good experience. I mean, I know my last show is coming up October 3 to 5, but who knows? Who knows if there's another one?
It was,
And I'm not. If I do start teaching in 2026, 27, my summers are going to be pretty open. That would be the time I would be doing a show, and so I'd check out what was down there, especially if they had like a summer horror show down there. That would be cool, but it might be the wrong season. But you never know.
Never
sometimes,
know.
sometimes there are, but interestingly enough, I mean, they are all year round, horror
Mhm.
shows and stuff, but they're just all over the place. And Virginia, right now needs more of it because we used to have a lot more, and now, it's just that I don't know for some reason like we're going to the Scares That Care one this weekend, and there was this shows you when we're recording this, because it's September, that we're recording this. But it like the Scares That Care weekend is like there used to be a bigger one that they did, and this is a smaller. This is the Pride Killer Pride one, and sad you can't be down there for that, just even hanging out with us and stuff because I think you'd enjoy that. But it was not like I don't know. It was just it's just not going to be. I don't think it's going to be that big. It's not going to be as big
We'll
as
see. I have noticed a bunch of vendors who've come out and said, "Hey, we're going to be there." So
yeah, yeah. I noticed that too. A lot of books, especially,
Let
which
me
I'm
know
expecting.
how the turnout is, because if it's a show that has a lot of people, well, then that probably would have been the right one for me.
I'm gonna see if there's any anime there. Because like
Yeah.
I like that you were like the only anime place because if there's like no other anime place that and there are people dressed up as anime characters cosplaying and I guarantee you in an LGBTQ event,
Yeah,
I think
and
there will be.
is there any pride sort of oriented anime stuff or manga stuff or stuff that you could sort of sell?
Oh yeah, I just have to. So yeah, the ones that I have right now, I have a little bit of that, but like I could get more into it. For a while, I carried some of those ones where it was two men that was really popular. I have a couple of lesbian animes that I sometimes sell,
Just
but
not the
I could
yaoi
definitely get
stuff.
more into it. Yeah, the yaoi
Not,
yuri.
not the
Mhm.
yaoi.
No, not the 18 plus ones. No, this was just regular anime.
Hmm.
Yeah. But but like yeah, if I see that I'll let you know and stuff. But
Mhm.
I mean, honestly, I'm very weird. Like just as you saw, like I'll go throughout, but I don't have a lot of money, so I don't like to just like one of my friends, Vittorio Paul, says he's not planning to come. He wants to, but he's like, if I go, I'm gonna spend a lot of money. Kind of like I
Well,
did
even
one
the
day.
day pass is just $55. I mean, that's a little steep.
Whoa,
Yeah, the day pass is
that's a lot.
55, the weekend pass is 70, so I'm already spending $70 plus hotel plus whatever. So like
Wow.
I'm,
But this is the first one, the first pride-oriented one. So, we like to be allies, we like to be supportive, and we were always supportive of Joe and Scares That Care in the past as whenever we could. So, we wanted to see what this was like. So,
mhm.
we'll see. I mean, for all we know, we could show up and it turns out it's even bigger than the regular Scares That Care. I doubt it, but you never know.
I mean, there
Hmm.
are people talking about it. I mean, it does. I mean, I might be wrong. I actually hope I'm wrong, for
Yeah, me
that.
too.
But I don't know because I just a lot of people I talk to, they don't even know this exists,
And
and
there is a
stuff.
drag show there, so your entry is you get to see the drag show. So
No,
they have to pay for that,
that's not an entry fee. You have to pay
isn't it?
20. No, you have to pay $20 for the drag show.
Oh, okay. I
That's
didn't
on
know that.
top of that. Yeah. No, a lot of those things. There's a psychic that's gonna be there. Like, there's gonna be the drag show. There's gonna be other, stuff, but some of them cost money. So,
Okay.
but yeah, no, the drag show isn't gonna be for free.
See, we'll have to just throw our own drag show while we're there.
And I'm not sure. I think it's on Saturday, but it might be Friday that they do it. I don't know. I think they'll do it on Saturday because yeah, it's Saturday. Yeah,
Saturday's usually the biggest day.
yeah. Um, so we'll see what happens.
Although I think it starts Thursday night, doesn't it?
No, it starts really Friday, but I'm going on Thursday because it gives me a 3 week, a 3 day vacation, thing. So like excited just to go early and I don't even care what's going on over there and people I see.
Somebody else can take care of the animals, huh?
Yeah, I just want to take. Well, no, there's only one animal. There's only Opie right now. Thank God. That then he's not hard to deal with. But yeah, it it'll just be nice to be out again. And I
Hmm.
enjoyed being out a couple weeks ago. And stuff. And then a couple weeks from this weekend, Paul and I will be going up to Richmond for Nightmare weekend and
That'll be
stuff.
fun.
And so
Oh,
there's
nice.
yeah, so like we were talking about we wanted to go to more conventions this year and then we're going to three like back to back to back. So I mean it's not a bad end to the year, I
And
guess.
maybe we'll get up to Pittsburgh and do the Gross Fest one. That would be
That'll
nice.
be next year, yeah. That'll be fun. We're planning to get a table if we can for that, but I'm hoping they don't sell out quickly because I don't have the money for that yet. you know, whenever they announce that. But anyway, if worse came to worse, we can just go up ourselves, Paul.
Sure.
And we don't have to sell anything because I just want to be there's. I mean, they just announced Todd Sheets and stuff like that are going to be there, and Steve Rudzinski. I'm like, oh, my boys are going to be here. That's so cool.
Hmm.
Like, I can't wait to like hang out with everybody.
Oh yeah. That's the fun part is all us folks who talk on Facebook actually get to meet up and hang out and chit chat.
Maybe go to dinner and do stuff and things like that. So that's what I like. We didn't really get a lot of that Tidewater Horror because I didn't even know who was going to be there,
Mm.
and stuff. I didn't know Robert was even going to be there, so that was a awesome like thing. I don't think he's going to be at Scares I Care because didn't plan it. But anyway, I guess that about wraps it up for everybody. So thank you, Steph.
Yeah, thanks for
We
having me.
yeah,
Yay, we appreciate it.
we can't wait to have you on again. Whenever. I know it's probably going to be a while because you're really busy still, but
Well, after the October show, I should finally be able to do stuff. So, um, yeah, let's link up after the first week in October, and that would be awesome.
oh
And you've always got a place to crash in my house. No, not
Yeah,
a
yeah.
problem. And you can bring Dio. It's not a problem.
You
yeah,
hear that, Dio? Dio, you hear that?
no, Dio's
We'll
coming
make
over.
sure
I'm sure.
the yard is Dio proof.
Or
Yeah,
I'll just put him on a leash, and then he goes on a leash now. Actually, he's much better about that.
Okay, well,
good.
that's good.
That's good. We don't want him running out like
Yeah,
outside. Like that was not good the last time and stuff.
yeah, right by a major road,
Yeah,
old
no.
dog, major road.
No, not a good thing.
Mm.
I saw a small dog and I was worried about it, so I went out to find out. I was afraid to
Mhm.
touch it because don't know if it'll bite, some little dogs bite and stuff and everything. And then I found its owner and everything, and the owner was just like, "Get back in here," right to
Yup.
the dog, and I was like, I actually thought of you stuff when that happened. I was like, that's Dio right there, not running too far away, but like. I was worried. I didn't want the dog to get hit by a car or something by
Yeah, yeah.
accident.
We got to air tag Dio.
He is air tagged. He's air
Oh,
tagged now.
nice. Good, good,
Nice.
good.
Good. Well, all right. Well, next time we'll definitely have you and Dio back probably. We'll try to have it in person again.
Yeah, that'd
'Cause
be nice.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah. And I'll do some more cooking.
Ooh, yes, please.
she was okay with that, even though well, I think you were complaining that you weren't doing the cooking stuff. So, you love
I
to.
just want to help. That's all.
Yeah, but you helped a lot. I mean, just us getting in there, giving us a pass to get in there, we really
Yeah, that was
appreciated that.
great. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Plus, at some point, we want to head up your way, and we're always looking out for new places that sell movies.
Ooh, we have an evening downtown Frederick ghost walk event that they do like
Ooh,
every weekend. Like every weekend, like it's just a thing because
nice.
we have a bunch of old buildings from the Civil War time because they weren't destroyed. Like Frederick's one of the like rare places where there's still Civil War buildings standing. So yeah, ghost tours definitely a necessity.
I'd be up for that.
we have one in Colonial Williamsburg, and I
Oh,
actually know the people who run it. They're friends of mine, and they were like, "Yeah, you should come down there." And I'm like,
And we
I
do Ghost Walk
I just
every year at
haven't.
Fort
And they
Monroe.
they do that at October. Yeah, that
ooh.
Jen does it. So
Hmm.
we really appreciate. Yeah. Sometime I gotta go do that. Does that cost money? Does that cost
Yeah,
money?
I forget how much it is, but it's not bad,
It's
and
not bad,
it's
like
always
20
a lot
bucks
of
probably,
fun.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's a lot of fun though.
I still want to do like I've never done a hayride, but like I'm sorry, I don't want to do a hayride with Paul. Like that just doesn't. It's like seems like I
Thanks
want
a
to do
lot.
something with like
Not
a.
Paul.
It's like I want to do a.
See, my whole life is like that. I want
a
to do cool stuff with someone, just not you.
Well, I mean, would you want to do one with a guy? Like, it's more of a romantic thing, I think. If you had a hot girl with you, you would, like be,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't equate hay with romance, I guess. It's
I
weird.
don't know.
I took a lot of kids on those things, so I don't equate it to romance. I equate it to, oh, look at that thing, neat. And then the kids are like, I'm spooked. And I'm like, oh, right, this is scary to you.
Yeah, that's not scary to you, but scary to all the
No,
little
yeah.
kids. But yeah, I don't know. I've never done them, but I always see them in like romantic stuff, like romantic movies and shit. And so I'm like, oh, that's cute, and
Yeah,
everything.
your hallmark view of the world.
I know my Gilmore Girls, view of the world and shit. So I don't mind that. But yeah. So, anywho, all right, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Next episode will be my episode, and it'll be in February, so get ready for that. I have no idea. I think we're gonna try to do one or two episodes at up in was it up at Scares I Care, but we'll
Nice.
see. We'll see. We always plan these things and then they don't go as planned because,
Someone
Mhm.
ends up crying and canceling.
well,
Oh,
that was because
oh,
you had a long freaking
I
day.
was tired. I
You
was like,
were
I
ready.
can't do it. I'm sorry.
it's
You
okay.
you were ready for bed, and
I
we
was
were
so ready.
okay. We were okay with, and I was honestly, I was happy. You actually made my day because I wanted to go home. I was tired. I was like, if we do the movie, it'll be over by 12 something, and I'll be home at 1. And
But Calamari Wrestler is still there waiting for you.
We'll
So
be ready for it.
there you
yes,
go.
and Dio better be there next time.
Yeah.
Look at him. He's like,
He's
let
like,
me
I'll
be in.
I'll take that calamari, yes, please.
Oh, okay. Feed him some.
And
All
that's
right.
the other thing we got to do. We got to do the ramen place
Yes.
in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
So yeah, there
We
you
got
go.
we got a busy weekend one day whenever you can make it down here. So we appreciate that. All right, everybody, join us next month for a brand new episode. Until then, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.